Today's project is a custom sheet for a Morakniv Classic #1 made out of natural cork. I harvest the cork in the south of Portugal. So here I'm looking to see how much material I have. I think I have enough. So I start by sanding it flat with simple sandpaper, making sure all the surfaces are leveled. So for the next step that I need to do, I need to have good surface contact. So first I start by carving the slot for the knife. It's a pretty simple step. I use the knife to carve away just on one side. I just carve one side. So it's a simple. The cork is a relative soft material. With a sharp knife, it took probably 2 to 3 minutes to do it. I make sure the slot I carved it's deep enough for the thickness of the blade. One thing to take in consideration, the outside of the bark tends to have a lot of sand that is blown by the wind, so it can really damage your knife. So I use epoxy, 2 parts epoxy. For this glue. I think wood glue doesn't do a great job because the material is porous and the glue. So it's once again simple step. Just glue it up all the way and clamp it up. I let it sit for probably 1 day. This was slow drying epoxy. First I clean the inside with a small file and then chip away all the excess and level both surfaces. Then I go to the sandpaper to smooth it up and to level it up everything. A bit of more sandpaper. So to give a little extra protection, I use some toothpicks that go all the way through both parts, and I use wood glue. I think this time wood glue will be enough. This is just an extra protection. I think the structure will be given by the epoxy. So now I'm starting to carve a slot, so later I can attach the wood, the top leather part. I carved the slot in a wedge, in the slope, wedge slope. I don't know. So the sheet doesn't drop from the leather. You can see it here. This is simple, some leftover of Vesten leather, I think 2 mil. Normally when I measure, and it's better to have excessive leather than you can cut away than be very, very precise at the beginning and you end up having less material than you need. So give it an extra material so you can cut off later. Now I'm defining a line so I can skive off some material. So I'm going later. You're going to see. I'm going to do a folded edge to give it a little a better look. I will glue the folded edge. While the glue dries, I apply some leather balm. It's just beeswax and some oils. It's the same stuff I use on my leather stuff. I wet the leather so it becomes more pliable. And now you can see I'm going to start to fold the edge, giving a more rounded. I use the handle of the knife to compress it. So now it's just, you have to stitch on the back. I use an awl and needles, just a simple stitching. It's called, this type of stitching is called saddle stitch. You use 2 needles and 1 piece of thread. So the excess is cut off. And I just dyed the leather with leather dye from Tandy. Then the only thing left to do is to make the traditional Nordic loop, belt loop. Just a piece of leather, this small strap that is passed through those 2 holes on each side, and then the leather is rolled, as you can see it here. It's rolled on itself, and the simple knot close the loop. And that's it. It's a very simple. It's a mix of Nordic style sheath with some materials from the south of Europe, in Portugal, where I'm from. I'm very pleased with the render result. I think looks great.